Welcome to Connecting the Dots in Early Childhood Education. I'm Pat, and this will be the first in a series of podcasts on what it's like to teach using the Reggio Emilia approach. Today, I'm speaking with Rafa. Rafa, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at Mi Casita?
Yes. I'm Rafa Perez Segura. I'm the education director at Mi Casita. I'm also a full-time teacher at Mi Casita. We're a bilingual, dual language Spanish English immersion preschool in Bed-Stuy in Brooklyn, New York City.
All right. Well, we're excited to have you as our guest today, and I can't wait to get the conversation started.
So my perspective is there are practices that tend to be helpful, and there are practices that tend to be quote unquote Reggio. But over the long term, if it's being done in an uncritical way that's not being thought about consciously, it's just going to become an unintentional radio looking shell, in my opinion. Like, so for me, what I'm really working on with my teachers and with myself is what are our highest values? What do we think of children?
Mm-hmm.
Is our practice aligned with that? And if it's not, with curiosity, exploring why is it not aligned? Do we change our practice? Do we change our value? Or do we hold two conflicting values at the moment?
And tell me a little bit more about how that looks, these conflicting values that you're seeing.
I think the pandemic has put it into strong relief. So, for example, one thing we value at our school is being able to gather as a community. Uh, but because of the pandemic, our
Yeah,
drop off and our gathering capabilities in person are very limited. So we have this competing values of public safety and public health and the value of gathering and connecting in person.
yeah,
And so we've decided that we're doing our best to, through our newsletters and through Zoom, to connect with families that way, and through Brightwheel, our messaging service we use, um, fully conscious of the fact that we are in a way compromising that value at the moment because we also value public safety, and that's what needs to be done. That's an
right.
example, I think. Um,
So you're just saying,
mhm,
so you're already battling it and you're doing a fine job of it because I saw your Zoom and I know your approach to keeping that community tight. I know you took some neighborhood walks, if I'm not mistaken, and
mhm.
um, so it sounds like you're not in conflict. You're just highly aware that this isn't the ideal way to build community, but you're still being responsive and stepping into this with the same set of values that you would have if there was not this challenge. So I guess I'm wondering how there's the conflict there, because I haven't seen it be a big conflict. I've seen you really be successful at it. And I'm saying that with all sincerity. It's
Mm.
like you've stepped into it and just said, okay, well, we know that community is our value. And so everything we do is through that lens of reaching out and creating these deeper relationships. So tell me how you feel that this is A, positively working, or B, what are the pitfalls that you're still feeling and the ways that you've seen it show up throughout the curriculum development of the Reggio approach.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate your clarification around the conflict. It maybe is not a conflict of values, perhaps it's competition of values sometimes. Because I just know that it would be more aligned with our values of community if families could come in first thing in the morning with their kids and join as a group and stay. But because of health regulations and just good health practice, we don't do that because we value the safety. So in a way that they're competing, but you're right, it's not like a cut and dry conflict. And we're definitely trying to hold both at the same time. I
Yeah,
think with curriculum, um, so this is where so what holds us up the most about curriculum and emergent curriculum is carving out and keeping sacred the space and time that we have to really look over our documentation of student learning and doing, I mean, I'm experimenting with descriptive review processes where, you describe what you see, we wonder what we see as a pedagogical team, and then out of that we come with more questions or ideas or to structure the children's learning